Do you guys remember when you were growing up how popular beauty pageants used to be? The crowning of Miss America, that used to be a big deal. During the 1960s, the Miss America pageant was watched by 85 million people. Nothing draws that kind of audience on television besides the Super Bowl. The popularity of Miss America, it spawned an entire industry. Beauty pageants, they used to be big business. I remember back when I was in college, one of my friends, he was married at the time. He and his wife had a 4, maybe 5-year-old daughter. The mom, she competed in these beauty pageants when she was growing up, so naturally, she wanted to do the same thing with her daughter. Now, I didn't know anything about beauty pageants back then. Hell, I still don't to this day. I always thought it was something for high school girls, young women in college. My friend and his wife, they would be traveling every single weekend for their 5-year-old daughter to compete in beauty pageants. Now, we're talking about thousands upon thousands of dollars being spent on dresses for a kindergartner to wear one time. I thought they were insane, not only for spending that kind of money to compete in some meaningless beauty pageant, but I also felt bad for the child. It seemed like the child was losing their innocence. She was being forced to grow up too fast. Now, 20 years ago, that was the definition of insanity. Compared to what we are dealing with today, spending $10,000, $20,000 every month for a toddler to compete in meaningless beauty pageants, that would be considered normal. This past weekend, how many of you guys wasted your time watching the Miss Universe pageant? I don't see any hands raised back there. If you're like me, you didn't realize this bullshit still existed. Ratings for the Miss Universe pageant have been on the steady decline for years now. Matter of fact, they've been on quite the roll lately. Over the last 3, maybe 4 years, the pageant continues setting records for record low ratings. 2019, Miss Universe was carried by Fox, 3.8 million viewers, putting Fox third amongst the big 4 broadcast networks. 2021, pageant once again carried by Fox for the final time. Once again, they broke their previous record for low ratings by drawing just 2.7 million viewers. That number had Fox dead last amongst broadcast networks that night. Ranking dead last, that is an unfamiliar feeling for Fox. They had the #1 network on cable. They pull in monster ratings with the NFL. This is not like Bomani Jones, someone who is comfortable being in last place. Fox has expectations to put up big ratings. After the 2021 pageant, executives at Fox, they decided they were tired of this garbage dragging down their ratings average. So, what did they do? They decided to part ways with the Miss Universe pageant. Now, a lot has happened with Miss Universe in the last 12 months. For one, they've had a change in ownership. Donald Trump owned the pageant until around 2015. Some other fuckknuckle wasted millions of dollars buying it from him. Last year, that fuckknuckle found another dumbass willing to buy this dying brand. The combination of Miss Universe, Miss USA, and Miss Teen USA, they were bought by someone named Anne Jakrajutatip. I am positive I'm mispronouncing their name, and not on purpose. I know I'm bilingual, I'm proficient in both English and shitfuck, but Taiwanese is just not one of the languages that I'm fluent in. With that being the case, I'm going to call them JJ going forward, or go by their American version of their name, which is Anne. Anne is a former reality television star in Thailand. She was able to purchase all 3 of these pageants for a measly $20 million. God, that's a fall from grace. This used to be a billion-dollar industry. Someone was able to purchase the biggest 3 pageants in the world for nearly a third of Steph Curry's NBA salary? When Anne bought the Miss Universe pageant, she had delusions of grandeur in mind. I want to expand the cause of women empowerment, especially among those choosing to identify with marginalized groups. I want to give birthing persons opportunities who are disenfranchised and living in poverty. Oh, how nice. Let me translate that for you. What Anne actually said was, I'm a wanker spanker. But KC, how can Anne be a wanker spanker? She is a woman! Yeah, Yeah. If you judged solely based off of appearance, I can understand why you think that. There is a reason I said I would also refer to her as JJ going forward. You see, Jackafong or JJ, they were not given the name Anne at birth. They were also not blessed with the ability to get pregnant, unless, of course, you're one of the few who believe men can get pregnant, because Anne was born a man. This past weekend, the 71st Miss Universe pageant was held in New Orleans. The event was viewed as a sign of progress by the shitfucks. Over the last few years, beauty pageants, they have taken a beating by the wanker spankers. These pageants are sexist. This is misogyny. Who wants to see beautiful women walking around stage in bikinis? That's just ew, gross. I do. What other reason would I have to watch a beauty pageant? I don't give a shit if Miss Ethiopia is a talented flutist. You think I care if Miss Argentina has the voice of Mariah Carey? If men are watching these pageants, and that's a big if, but if men are watching these pageants, they're watching to see beautiful women. And yes, that includes the bikini portion. But under the leadership of Anne JJ, the pageants, they are trying to get away from all this toxic masculinity and mythical misogyny. We want to be an inclusive pageant. The new and improved Miss Universe was so captivating, not one American network purchased the rights to broadcast it. Instead of being on Fox or one of the other networks, the 2023 Miss Universe pageant was aired on Telemundo and Hulu. And oh, I'm sure they drew monster ratings. After I watched what the mainstream media is calling an impassioned speech of feminism and female empowerment delivered by a man dressed as a woman, I can pretty much guarantee ratings for this pageant reached Bomani Jones' level of failure. Before the pageant began, Anne JJ delivered a speech to an audience filled with birthing persons. Now, this was truly a diverse audience. It was a shitfuck's wet dream. There were yentas, there were pregnant men, there was Lynn dressed as Ben, there were Peaches, there were Wieners, there was Joy Reid dressed as Mr. Cleaner. It was a woke boner festival like no other. The audience was brimming with excitement and anticipation as their fearless leader began speaking into the cucumber. Try not to be inspired as you listen to this speech. Roll the film. You know, advances in modern medicine have given doctors the ability to essentially perform miracles. Doctors can transform the appearance of Nancy Pelosi from an 80-year-old grandmother to an 80-year-old mannequin. Doctors had the power to make George look like Georgia. Some of these doctors, they do such a great job, great work, sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. But there's one thing they have not been able to change. You can't change someone's voice. I gave you, a minute or so of that speech? Did that sound like a woman to you? I also found it incredibly strange. Anne JJ started her speech by claiming, "The time is up. Miss Universe will no longer be ran by men. It will now be run by me, a man that goes by Anne." She also claimed she was born a transgender woman. Look, I am no expert in this field. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a transologist. I'm just asking a simple question, hoping to be educated here. If you were born a transgender woman, which I would assume means you were born a woman, if that's the case, why would you need doctors to perform surgery to make you a woman? Just a simple question. I don't know the answer. All of these pageants, Miss Universe, Miss USA, Teen USA, whatever the fuck, they were already dying a slow, painful death, but now they are officially dead. What I think is going to end up happening, they are going to start allowing men to compete in these pageants. I'm not talking about dudes who have completed the transition to a woman. I'm not talking about Bruce Jenner becoming Caitlyn Jenner. I'm talking about the dudes who wake up one morning choosing to identify as a woman. There's a huge difference. They're going to start allowing dudes to compete in these pageants. It's going to start at the top with Miss Universe, Miss USA, then it'll work its way down to a lower level pageant. On a national or global scale, the vast majority of people will just refuse to watch. Hell, people were refusing to watch already when they were featuring real women in bikinis. You think people are going to tune in to see Bikini Bob? No. But on a more local level, parents are not going to allow their real daughters to compete in pageants against dudes. What self-respecting father or mother wants their teenage daughter changing into a swimsuit while she shares a locker room with a teenage boy? Anne JJ claims to be fighting for female empowerment, furthering the cause of feminism. Number one, feminism is the problem, but that's a topic for another video. But number two, Anne JJ, she is furthering the demise of women. Just think about it. What do we have left that is exclusive to women? They allowed a man to win the national title in women's swimming. The NHL is sponsoring leagues allowing men to compete against women. The WNBA barely has any women left in the damn league. One thing that has always been exclusive to women has been beauty pageants, and now they are trying to take that away from you too, all under the guise of helping women. Doesn't make much sense to me, but what the hell do I know? I'm not a shit fuck. Give me your thoughts. You know, normally I don't have any trouble coming up with a question or two for you to comment on, but I don't even know what to ask here. Just sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, kc_btl84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.